Is acquiring your domain name, your perfect domain name, is it vanity or is it strategy? Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options help companies to acquire the raw version of their brand, brokering some of the best domain names on the planet. Check that out over at MediaOptions.com. Check out ChrisZuiker.com. I do daily podcasts about lots of videos, lots of blog posts, lots of information. Make sure that you download my new book, DomainNameBrokerSecrets.com. Domain Name Broker Secrets. You can find it over at Domain Name Broker Secrets. Anyways, listen, is your domain name, is it vanity or is it strategy? Now, I talk a lot about, and I say, listen, it's not vanity, it's strategy. But in a certain sense, there is a little bit of vanity in that. Now, I'm going through this book. It's called The 16-Word Sales Letter. I don't know who the author is. I left it at my other office. But you can go down, you can find one of my posts. I've got a picture of it. And, one of the things, so he asked hey, there's 10 questions to ask when you're doing a sales letter, okay? Now, in domaining, a lot of cold emails, a lot of sales letters, right? I mean, someone asks price, okay, how do you respond back to them? Do you just give them price? Or if you know my view on selling, okay, there's worldview, self-view roadmap. It's not my view, it's Garrett White's, the warrior, but, it's hey, can you crush this worldview as far as how they view the world? And can you replace that with a view that aligns with your product, okay? So there's a process behind that. And so one of the questions of this book was well, what's holding them back? What is holding them back from buying? And, this us versus them mentality. And, you can see this a lot in some of my posts. Hey, the branding agency, right? They're holding you back because they're saying, hey, they're going through all this thing. Here's this brand. But then it's saying, yeah, your domain doesn't matter. And as in the domain space, they were saying, hey, that's the exact opposite. Your domain name is super important. And it is, it's actually, your domain name is your brand. And so you think your brand is this, but the reality is your customers actually say your brand is your domain name. Okay, getting off track here. So vanity versus strategy. Now, what's holding them back? And it's interesting because, in a certain sense, it is vanity. It is vanity. People in startups and founders, they want to be respected. They want to be known. They want to, when they go in and they talk to their investors and the VCs and the private equity, they want to be looked at and viewed as someone who's building a world-class brand, world-class business. They want to be instantly saying, hey, wow, amazing what you're doing. Now, what happens with domain names, I've seen domain names and presentations, a lot of these companies are seeing hundreds of opportunities, and how do they get more information on you? Right? They go to your domain, right? They go to your website. Now, listen, if you don't if you have 3 words, okay, and it's a mine, there's your domain, then it's LC design, then it's .co, .ai, whatever. You've created so much confusion. Right off the bat, you don't look like your leader, okay? Creating an effortless path and branding, okay, great branding, okay, because there's scarcity in the market, okay, it's that classic, demand, that classic, economic curve, right? Supply and demand, great domains, great brands are scarce, and so you get recognized, right? So there is this element, in a sense, of vanity. Now, the flip to that is the strategy is that domain names, they pay for themselves, okay? Yes, if you make the upfront payment, let's say you put in $500,000 down on the domain name, you're buying that, okay, I get it. You might not see it the first year, but over time it pays for itself. Now, and it especially pays for itself when you got a lease option. There's a company I was just talking to this last week, and we gave them a lease option for this domain name, and it was $1,000 a month. Okay, it's nothing for years. Okay, with the ability to buy it out at a certain point. And I was listen, this is nothing. You spend more than this on your car payment, I imagine. Okay, I mean, cars cost more today. If you can justify that, you can justify this creation if you believe in what you're building. If you don't believe what you're building, then don't worry about it. Just do what you're doing, right? You're just kind of burning through cash. You're just waiting for the next gig. Because you don't believe in what you're building. And that's where the vanity comes in. That's where but it's not vanity, okay? It's belief in your mission. It's belief in your brand. It's belief in what you're building. And it's communicated because you created an effortless path, okay? Lots of packages there. Hope you enjoyed it. Share it up. Download my book.com. DomainNameBrokerSecrets.com. Go over there. It's going to redirect you over to ChrisZuiker.com. I'll leave a link in down below.